Hey, boys. Sorry I've been out of touch for a while. It's your favorite president, Dr. Jill Biden. Listen, I'm trying everything I can to stop this whole Israel thing, but I'm just a little bean whomst has dementia or whatever. Can't do nothing about it. Sorry.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
You've never had Rolling Rock Draft.
No, in my various travels, I don't think I ever.
You've never been anywhere so shitty that they're like, yeah, the AB product that we're going to have here is going to include Rolling Rock.
No.
The keg of Amber Bach was too expensive.
Right. Couldn't get Killian's. We had to go Rolling Rock. Yeah.
Remember Red Dog?
Red Dog. I was just thinking about that. You read my fucking mind. Yeah, Red Dog. Jesus, wept.
I was able to find that as recently as 10 years ago.
Where?
Somewhere in North County, of course.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That tracks. Yeah.
Like, pretty sure, like, somewhere in Blackjack. I don't even know how I was out there. I just remember being somewhere and seeing, like, Red Dog. Mm-hmm. The shit my dad used to drink while watching fishing shows in the morning. Like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And
I feel that way about Mickey's.
Oh, man. Mickey's is like... Mickey's is what... Not a friend of yours, but a friend of a friend that shows up to the party house when you're like 20. Like the one friend that got to move out early because he got like a job that didn't suck.
Okay.
You know, so everyone just hangs out at his place to be debaucherous. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it was like one of his friends that would like show up from like his like shitty like waiter job. Like some service industry job. Showing up in like, you know, those fucking like starched out fucking black dress pants, like the shitty fucking black button up shirt. That's what he would always. That's what that guy would show up. That's what Mickey's. Mickey's is like. That guy ain't ever getting better than this. Like, this is him peaking at 20. That hairline's not gonna last, brother. Yeah. Better drink them hand grenades while you can.
Yeah.
But I honestly can't say I've drank too many Mickeys in my life.
I've had too many. That's 40 minutes of dogs barking. My name's Jason. This is Brian.
We're talking about alcoholism.
Yeah. What is it like to have alcoholism, right?
It's pretty great.
Do you think it's awesome?
It's pretty great. When you have alcoholism, you can mow the lawn whenever you want. Well, I gotta have a beer before I mow the lawn. Well, I'm done mowing the lawn.
Right.
Better have a beer before I start the edging.
That's right.
Well, I'm done with that. You know, those gutters. I haven't checked those gutters in a while.
You know, you're just describing my Saturday. You know that, right?
I was supposed to pick up the kids. Yeah, they can walk.
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah. Happy birthday to my girlfriend.
Yes, happy birthday to Dave.
I've neglected to say that for the last 2 episodes, so I'm saying it now.
Well, we didn't record on her birthday, and then by the time we recorded last, it was a week after. So yeah, I mean,
wasn't it 2 weeks?
That was a week, so we recorded a week after.
Okay,
her birthday.
Okay, it's all getting foggy.
It's only because this is gonna come out.
Because I'm unemployed and I'm living that life of. Well, I can just mow the lawn whenever.
Your housing situation, I understand, has recently just changed. You got keys to a new place. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. It didn't even come with a fridge.
That's okay. I bought a dryer today because my dryer's dead after 12 years.
I mean, 12 years is pretty good.
That's pretty good for a dryer. Yeah. No,
was it an LG?
Whirlpool, maybe?
Whirlpool does good.
I don't remember.
I've just had like a lot of friends do really good with LGs for some reason.
And that's what I got, so here's hoping. Yeah.
Didn't get the matching set?
Did not get the matching set because I have this washer that I got at a fucking Steel. It's a Bosch, and that thing's indestructible.
Oh, yeah, that thing's going to fucking outlive you.
Yeah, I mean, so far, so good.
Yeah.
You know, not...
Yeah, but yeah, we got new living situations. Got the keys today, and took a look around, saw the dead flies in the corner. I'm like, oh, cool, we got some spiders you need to spray for. Sick.
Classic apartment stuff, yeah.
Yeah, well, small house, you know.
But,
classic, you know, like, just, you know, I'm trading up the bougie lifestyle of South St. Louis, and I'm moving now to what is probably the closest analog to, like, Youngstown, Ohio, the metropolitan area has. So I'm gonna start not wearing a helmet on my motorcycle, and I'm letting my girlfriend know now that I will probably start forgetting your birthday and that's Valentine's Day. So I hope you like chocolate covered strawberries from Schnucks.
Fair enough.
Real blue collar ass guy.
Giving her a bowling ball as a Christmas present. Yeah, classic.
Fucking project car in the backyard.
The IROC Z on cinder blocks. Yeah, I know the guy. Yeah,
I know. I was thinking more like Eagle Talon.
Okay.
Like somewhere like you're never gonna find parts for that.
No.
Why are you even?
No. Yeah. What are you
have
doing
more luck
here?
with a 3000 GT, brother.
You had better luck with an MG, for God's sake. I mean, fuck's sake. My Uncle Bill had an MG for the longest time. Still does, actually.
They're
He
cool,
just parks that shit in Plano, Texas now.
Yeah.
He worked on it for 10 years.
I worked this really shitty warehouse job during Ferguson, which was a real fucking hoot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was new old stock car parts that were mostly being sent out to be recycled.
Okay.
And it was a fucking gnarly job. I'm sure I've talked about it a few times. This is a job where there was these two like ladies from Jefferson County, and they had like big gulp cups that were definitely like at least 50% airport bottles of wild turkey.
The 99 bananas, yeah.
I think I mentioned this. Like, I remember one time they pulled off the parking lot, and one of the other guys I worked with going like, "You see all those fucking airport bottles on the fucking ground? God damn! And they let that lady on a forklift? Fuck me!" They would just be absolutely fucking lost in the sauce. The guy who managed this whole fucking operation, which was fucking sketchy, like his son also worked there, and his son had a friend that worked there too, and all they would do in downtime is look at photos or look at videos of dab rigs on Instagram while hitting dabs. I'm just like, man, what a nice simple life. What a nice.
We could have it so much better, man. That's the only thing I think of. It. That's like me watching a guy put together a really high-end computer. Like, oh man, I could be doing so much better right now.
Oh shit, yeah. But I remember one time I had this box. These boxes were like gross, and all the stuff's like grease packed and all that.
Oh yeah.
And I had something like fall out of a box one time, and the paperwork kind of like just
right on
hit the ground, and I was like, could read it. And it was a like front right strut for like a 92 Isuzu Ninja.
Oh shit.
And I'm just thinking like, this is absolutely worthless.
No, yeah.
Except to like the 5 people in the world, and you will never find them. Yeah. There's some guy out there that would pay like $300 for that.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
But you're never going to fucking find that guy because he's got priors and is not allowed on the internet anymore.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I know somebody whose project car was an Isuzu Tracker, so that follows.
Oh, shit. Yeah, my aunt had a tracker.
And trackers are dope.
A Geo Tracker. Yeah, man, fucking... My aunt had that for a while, and then she upgraded to she worked for a dealership, so she had dealership cars for a while, and then she bought a Pontiac Grand Prix or Grand Am, which is, if you listen to Street Fight Radio, a storied shit car.
Yes, I had one. I had a Grand Am. I had a 2-door black Grand Am, and I totaled that motherfucker. Driving in the snow, just obliterated that car.
You really want to hear they say. There's the stereotype of the Ultima being like the single hardworking mom just trying to get the kids to fucking daycare before working their office job or something. Like the hard mom trying to make it work car. I say the Grand Prix is the car for like the guy that is just trying to get the payday so he can buy some scratchers.
At the time, that was me when I was driving the Grand Am. So yeah, I was working at the casino 3 days a week. For nothing, like it was just
God, man. That was hard times, brother.
It was hard times, Dusty Road style hard times. Well, speaking of hard times, we're going through some right now, Brian.
Yeah, man, it's some sad news, folks.
Probably the single biggest hater on the planet, Steve Albini, bit the dust.
Heart attack.
Yeah, 61. I know this is gonna be a little inside baseball for some of you guys because like record producers, but like. He was more of an engineer than a producer, you know what I mean? Like, he would just get the right people together and hit record, you know? He's one of those guys who has this huge influence, but he still drove a fucking Geo Tracker, you know?
He drove a fucking beer, yeah. Someone shared the story about how, like, he, like, drove a car that every time he had to turn on, he had to pop the fucking hood and fill with some shit.
That was just what he did, you know? Like, he could have made X amount of dollars off that Nirvana record, but he chose not to.
Yeah, he famously did not charge points. he would just charge like a lump sum.
And then say later, hey, if you want to throw a little more money my way, I wouldn't be averse to it, but don't feel obligated. Like, that's in that letter that he wrote to Kurt Cobain. It's literally what he said. He goes, yeah, I'll come up with an agreed upon amount, and then if later you feel good about the record, you feel free to send me more. But this is what we're... Yeah.
And I knew people here that were like, well, I could like go record at some studio here that has a bad reputation. It's run by an asshole.
Right.
Or I can spend like $50 more an hour and go record with Steve Albini in Chicago. And a lot of people were like, you know what?
Yeah, fuck it.
Instead of going to like, there's really no good studio here in St. Louis.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like a handful of like small places that are run by jobbers, but not like the big name. None of the big names are worth a shit.
I mean, Smith Lee was probably the most professional, and now that's not even Smith Lee anymore. But anyways, lots of people that, I mean, even 10 years ago, like Humdrum, I know, recorded a record with him, and they had nothing but nice things to say about the experience. I knew some other people that they just went up to Chicago for a weekend, like track drums.
Yeah.
And, they spent a little bit of time with him, and again, just had like this really like amazing kind of almost one-on-one experience with him and like his staff. And I've seen a few people say something to the effect that like the last honest guy in the music industry has died.
Oh yeah. Here's a quote from him. This from theringer.com. It was 1991 and Albini was by choice writing this for the magazine Forced Exposure within a column detailing his thoughts on various albums he'd worked on. As Albini explained before his pinch loaf diatribe, potential future slander was literally part of the deal with him. Quote, when I am hired to record a band, I make it plain to my clients I do not wish to be associated with their charming little records. I will do a good job for them, but that does not include shouldering any responsibility for their lousy tastes and mistakes.
Yeah.
And he even, I mean, probably one of the albums that I always think about when I think about the way he produced stuff was Surfer Rosa, and he's notoriously talked shit on that album.
And yet everyone thinks
it's a classic.
A very inspiring musician in all of his different projects. Big Black was my first introduction really to him.
Oh yeah, songs about fucking
Kerosene.
Ugh.
He was also kind of like this pro edgelord, because he had a project after Big Black called Rape Man.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that's really rough.
Oh yeah.
But I think at the time it was to be kind of provocative and edgy. And as he got older, he really like distanced himself from that stuff and kind of shown that he was not that person anymore.
Yeah. I mean, even some of his shellac records were kind of like on the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some shellac stuff that's fucking intense. A really unique guy. I'm bummed I never got to see him live. The one chance I got to see him live, he was playing at a venue that I was banned from because I was too much of a big mouthed asshole that always had to be right, which I think he would have approved.
Yeah,
of.
I was gonna say, of all the things,
because no one remembers that. I think I'm the only person that still talks about this venue, despite the fact that 10 years ago was probably the most important venue in the Midwest.
Right.
It shows you how weird the music industry can move, particularly when it comes to live music. No one who was involved with that show, I think, is really even in the live music business anymore.
No.
Electric Studios, is that what it was called in Chicago's operation? I think it was Electric Audio, is what it was called, maybe.
Electrical Audio. There it is. His studio in Chicago. The last big record of note that he produced was a Ty Segall album. It was a self-titled one from 2017. And for his services, Albini received a flat fee like a plumber. To promote that album, there was some plumbing involved, as it happens. This from the Ringer piece, I love it. In a video posted by Drag City, which was Ty Segall's label, Albini, clad in a navy jumpsuit like a custodian, pushes a toilet off a ledge on what appears to be the loading area of his studio. The toilet shatters, and then Segall jumps in with an axe, smashing the rest to bits. Albini, having engineered this scene for Segall to seize upon, gazes on the ruins and flashes a thumbs up. Another job well done. Great job, Nate Rogers, for that tribute. That was really pretty much, if you could pick a story, that's that one.
Yeah. And, I don't know if we mentioned it, but
toilet off the roof.
I don't know if we mentioned it. This is a piece for the Ringer. Everyone's been writing some really nice eulogies for him, which is good to see. I don't feel like enough people in the industry when they pass
are getting any of these glowing hagiographies that you really hope to see.
And he was also an incredibly gifted poster.
Oh God, yeah. A top tier shit poster.
His Twitter account always cracked me up.
Oh, yeah, his bio even. A recording engineer who plays billiards and poker and eats like a Viking. I reflexively block blue check accounts and promoted tweets. Good for you. When D-Trans was trending, he says, fuck this. I come here to read jokes, end capitalism, and shit on Steely Dan, not be a captive audience for fuckhead bigot university. I am about through. Find me on Bluey. Blue Sky.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when D-Trans was trending because it was paid for by PragerU.
I was just penis Prager.
I use those so many. I owe a debt of gratitude to Tall Bart for showing.
Tall Bart, yes, amazing, amazing word salad.
2 days ago, his last post. From the beginning, the danger hasn't been Trump. He's constitutionally lazy, ignorant, unambitious, and just generally not good at things. The danger is from people supposedly in opposition doing fuck all to stop the rest of his coterie, categorically more evil, ambitious, and skilled than him. If that's got to be your last post, I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, he was always very eloquent, had a good, sharp tongue about things. People were sharing, Jenny Lewis shared she accidentally texted him instead of a different Steve A. And then just like recommended him a steakhouse.
Oh yeah, did he go?
And it was just kind of just like this funny little exchange, and this kind of showed that this guy had a very warm heart, despite his shit talking and his abrasions. You know, he recorded that Jawbreaker record. And apparently, in a Jawbreaker documentary, he goes on to talk about how he thought it was Jawbox.
Yeah, and, that was 24-Hour Revenge Therapy, my favorite Jawbreaker record.
It was funny, yeah. And the guys from Jawbreaker like talk about how he kind of took the piss out of them, but how they end up still making like a really great record, which kind of shows what he was able to get out of people.
Again, 2 days ago, the Rolling Stone lips, but it's a butthole. Do they still sue people? I have an idea. I think we need to make that happen, just for Steve.
Yeah, and fellow from the Dicks passed away last week, so he says some things about him. Yeah. That's a band I never got into too much, but you should go listen to.
Oh yeah,
lots of great history there.
For Wheelchair Epidemic, I think was the one that I liked the other day. Wheelchair Epidemic was great. Dick Shit on Me. That's the other one. This is another one that he posted, but yeah, those were the ones I saw him posting, and I was like, yeah, this is okay. Yeah, I need
good
this.
Shit. But yeah, it's just a bummer. We lost a powerful poster and a guy that really changed music. He was like the opposite of Rick Rubin.
Yeah, kind of.
Because Rick Rubin's like apparently like some like crypto fascist or like some, which is unfortunately hand in hand with a lot of like the new age shit that he's into.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of tracks, you know. So shifting gears, Rick Rubin, hip hop producer, Kendrick and Drake doing their thing. Not a lot to say on that front there. We were at a show. We were seeing Slowdive when a couple of those.
It's really funny. It's really funny to think that we were talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef as Slowdive show with Bert.
Yeah.
Well, also the guy sitting next to you is watching the hockey game on his phone. And I'm like, this fucking rules.
This is the weirdest thing. Yeah.
This is awesome. Like, isn't live music great? That was really my thought. Like, this is great. This is a great moment. We're talking about all this weird shit. We're watching hockey on this guy, and he's just like, "Yeah, take a look."
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like one of those dudes like, "Don't look at my phone. You didn't pay for this." He's just like, "No, yeah, check it out. We're winning."
And as it happened, somebody slid into the goal,
slammed into the goal. It looked like a really painful time.
Took him out. But yeah, so the Kendrick and Drake beef. If you want to know, let's just say this. Been Team Kendrick since day one, no questions asked.
Are we trying to be really delicate about this because we're two white guys on a podcast? Oh,
no,
okay.
No, I've been listening to hip hop since the 80s, and I listen to all the corny shit and all the good shit in the 90s, and you know, I've got backpack. I've listened to all the different shit, and we've talked shit on Drake before, and we probably will do it again. The memes have been fantastic. Here's one of my favorites. It's Lol overruled. Hey, my name's Drake, and I'd like to say Kendrick hurt my feelings in a major way. I always love bringing back that rhyme. The other one, which was actually from the 13th of April, at Jozu Joestar, once Kendrick said he a 10, but he likes his girls 11. That's a strange ting. over a 1920s jazz sample. It's over. He got pretty close.
They Not Like Us, I think, is the one that I like the most. Well, like, I think that's Alchemist on the beat there, and it's just a really...
DJ Mustard.
Is that DJ Mustard?
Mustard on that beat? Ho? Yeah, Meet the Grams.
Okay, he did Beat the Grams. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ Mustard then, because that beat's really great.
It is, and it's almost got like...
What cracked me up about They Not Like Us is that it's a really great beat, but he's almost kind of rapping more like Snoop. Like, he's kind of punctuating a little bit more.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a little bit to show his Compton roots and like get a
sure.
little bit of that, you know.
And my girlfriend had more time invested in this, and like yesterday we were doing some errands and stuff, and she's just playing this all over. She's like, fucking listen to this shit forever, you know, A minor, you know. There's so many great little things. But what really kind of killed me was I was listening to that track, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of Brandon Miclio's freestyle from CKY, which have you ever heard this?
No. Hold on.
It's so good though.
Who like my chopstick? Hit you in the shit with my little ass stick. Yellow, if you wanna see me, eat yellow. I never seen nothing like you before. I can kick you higher than you can kick me. I can kick you way up into a tree. Who wants to taste of my oolong tea? Ho ha, hoo tee tee.
I can kick you higher than you can kick me.
Yeah. Oh,
I kick you way up into a tree and like, watch this. I can tiptoe while your little kid piss.
Oh, spy on you while you take a shit. Yeah. I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is well, one of the greatest moments I think probably of being like 15 was my friend having a bootleg of that he got from a friend. We were like watching it before we actually went out to go skate, like some Saturday morning. I can watch this. I can tiptoe while you take a like. I get that stuck in my head. There's so much of that, the way that punctuation. I mean, yes, it's problematic, but
yeah.
But it's, I don't know.
We know that. We know.
You know what? You know what? Like, you know what? Louis C.K. still had some good jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Man, Not Like Us has some fucking lines in it, brother. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Like, he's just and it sounds like, and Joe Budden said this somewhere else, and that's where I kind of got this idea. He's like, you know what? You better be glad that it's not like marching band season for fucking historically black colleges. Because they're going to be... they're going to be fucking doing that shit in line formation.
Yeah, I mean, well, people are already playing in the fucking club and
I
stuff.
know.
I saw some videos of that. And
it's probably the biggest diss track for the club since Hit 'Em Up.
Yeah.
And I've seen some remixes that add Hit 'Em Up on the Not Like Us beat. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that like Kendrick did like 3 songs in one day, and like Drake comes back with like some really fucking weak sauce, which is kind of like,
oh, not just any weak sauce, but like, I'm too famous to be a pedophile.
My dude, I mean, like, Puff Daddy's not necessarily a pedophile, but like,
yeah,
but like, you can be a big ass celebrity and still be an absolute dirtbag piece of shit. I mean, look at Mel Gibson, look at Puff Daddy, look at
you name it,
Donald Trump,
right?
That guy was fucking president.
Yeah, you can be famous and be a piece of shit, but all while this is happening, a surprise dark horse came up from behind. Macklemore, for some fucking reason. He spent the last 5 months reading up on Israel-Palestine and dropped a track called Heinz Hall. Have you heard this?
I haven't heard all of it. I've only seen little clips. But
it's only 2 minutes long.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty cognizant.
And very concise.
Yeah.
He distills a lot of complicated shit down in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Macklemore released this track and not someone like Soul.
Yeah, or Mortal Technique or Sage Francis or one of these guys that you kind of would expect to drop this. Yeah.
Because like Soul on Live from Rome, which is like kind of like his Iraq War record, which is fucking amazing. I thought I had gotten... Like I gave that record a listen during like the middle of the Trump years and thought like it kind of hadn't aged well, and then I gave a listen to it like early October when all this shit started up. Like, oh no, yeah, we're really back here, aren't we? Like, Life from Rome is very much like Gel. Also, his Soft Money record is also very anti-Iraq war. Surprisingly strong lyricism from him on there for a guy who isn't known for his rapping, more of his beats and his production. But yeah, Soul did a whole entire record about Occupy, like his experience with that and being further radicalized by participating in that. In Denver, there's one song where he says, victims of genocide, recreate apartheid, love thy neighbor, go back to Poland. But he's like talking about Israel, and I remember hearing that probably when I was like 19 or 20 and being like, huh, yeah, that is what's going on over there. Like, and all it took was one verse to make me go like, huh, yeah, that is fucked. Yeah. And it just kind of like changed my whole worldview on a lot of shit.
My moment like that was Joe Sacco, comic book artist turned journalist, put out a book called Palestine.
Yeah.
And I read that in like 2002. Sometimes a piece of art's gotta be what it takes, and hopefully for some people it's gonna be at least, if not that, something else. Yeah. But
it's interesting. But Tim Soul, I think he's really just chilling, like raising his kids and all that.
Oh yeah,
and like he does have a new record called Vault 1312, which is a great name.
Nice
for a record. It's got some older stuff, some stuff that was shelved, and some stuff him and DJ Payne 1 have been working on over the last year or two, and it's worth a listen. But yeah, even like during Ferguson's Soul and DJ Payne 1 had a song called FTR Fire the Police that was
nice,
fucking killer. So I mean that's out there, but it was so surprising to see it come from Macklemore.
Yeah, it definitely. I think I responded to it like, well, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Fertile ground, and that's not even touching Metro Boomin releasing a free beat, BBL Drizzy, that everyone's been going nuts about.
My girlfriend came up with a good point yesterday, which is like the only way Drake could even try to strike back right now is if he did a diss over the BBL Drizzly beat.
Yeah,
and I think she's right. I think that's his.
It's almost his only angle left because everything else is.
My girlfriend said it, and other people have said online. Like Drake, like, well, you're short, and like you like hit your wife or some shit like that. And Kid's response is like, "You're a pedophile. I wish you were dead."
And he's talking like on Family Matters, especially. He's like, "Yeah, hey, Drake's mom, your son should die." Actually, like, what the fuck?
That fucking rules. That's fucking awesome.
Damn, son. In the midst of all that, also, we found out that one of my favorite Twitter guys got himself suspended. Okay, but still. I mean, I'm doing the Norm Macdonald thing. Rob, he calls himself this guy.
Guy Rob? On the internet?
Well, I mean, some real classic posts here. At somebody's nephew, compiling a bunch of them. Here's one. r/sucking dick in a dream. Hey, been following this sub for a long time. I hoped I would never have to post in here. But... Here's another one. In Target self-checkout with Dianne Feinstein. Yeah, you won all these packs of hockey cards. You love them. Now hit the debit button. Good. Yeah, now hit cashback.
Join company's virtual holiday party on Zoom. Going through cancer guy. Hey, Rob. Looks like it's just us.
Here's a guy killing himself with beer, drugs, and food. I've cut way back on my screen time. Thumbs up emoji.
Amazing. Is he the one that like, hey, I haven't seen you since like high school. How you doing? Hey, I got this loaf of bread. And I was thinking we could fuck it.
The onion. It was the onion. I think that's drill. I think that was
okay.
A drill. But here's Trump 2023 town hall. I have the puzzle box right here. It's very easy to open. Okay. Jig Tapper voiceover. Just a quick fact check. Of course, the box is called the Lament configuration. It's notoriously difficult to open, and looks like you got it. Here come the Cenobites. Okay, go ahead.
Using Jedi mind trick on Doctor. I am not pre-diabetic.
So okay, but still has a great, just a poster spirit. They are back under OK_but. Underscore still, but
they told me, sir, Black Phillip is outside. I said, Black Phillip? They said, the horrible go for the movie, sir. He wants to come in, but we don't think he should come in. I said, let him in. I did. We talked. You think that I won, by the way? He said it.
Yeah, teaching cues for deadlift. All right, man. Butt back like you're letting another guy check it out. Yeah. Chest up like you're showing it off to another guy. Big breath like you saw a really attractive guy. Good. Now think about pushing away from the floor like it's made of women. I could go all day, but yeah, okay, but still was a classic poster. But like I said, immediately they're back. So yeah, Rob's back on there. But boy, it was nice to kind of go down some of the best ones. Trump's glitches are like, yeah, classic old guy stuff, retirement home soon. Seeing Biden's are like, this is how my parents' dog was acting right before it died. So if you have a chance there, at Somebody's Nephew has a nice little compilation of those posts. Well, someone else who is back unexpectedly, Brian. Oh yeah, James Somerton.
The thief?
The plagiarist, yes.
The plagiarist. Same difference.
This was discovered by at Great Cheshire, also known as Lady Emily. By the way, since some people have figured it out already, I gotta say that the same day James Somerton put up his post faking his death, he rebranded his alt account and then posted about TV shows and also horny posted. The same day James posted his first YouTube apology, he started this alt account himself, originally under the attempted rebrand name of The Gay Raconteur. Since then, it was rebranded as an anal-themed account.
Oh, I love gaping and plagiarizing. I'm a naughty boy.
Of note is this time in between Apology 1 and Apology 2 where he on his alt began arguing in defense of himself, saying that what he did wasn't that bad and didn't hurt anybody because the stuff he plagiarized was, quote, like a decade old and was blaming the cult of H-Bomb. H-Bomber guy, Mr. Harris there. After another rebrand to the Achillean Boy, he began going on TikTok, first using AI voices and emoji avatars before finally using his actual face and voice, which is how others discovered it was him. He saw people mourn his death and called those who ever criticized him murderers. He put out a manipulative statement to ensure that fact, and then horny posted from his safe alt while people suffered anxiety and grief for a death he never actually committed, nor was at risk for. Faking your death and then just like horny posting.
The first response here in this thread that isn't by the OP is Shin Megami Tensor's floating disc. Cuddle Potato is there at messing up faking my death by appearing on publicly accessible video.
Extremely on brand for him to see a trend where women talk about misogyny and how unsafe they feel and go, but what about me, a man? That is David J. Bradley, but marked with a Rasusian S at David J. Brandle. Brandle. How many chairs?
Yeah, fuck this guy. He sucks. I know what's funny, though, is like, for all the people that got roasted in that video, the angry video game nerd somehow didn't get it.
Unscathed. Somehow. Yeah. I think we're all suffered enough, I guess.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a video or a photo where he showed his balls. Hold on, I gotta reload this.
The angry video game balls.
No.
Piss.
No, Somerton. Hold on.
Yeah, while you're looking that up, the angry video game nerd just actually uploaded a video. He's been doing that shit for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Can you?
I mean, he's got a video game with his likeness.
He's got two video games.
Oh, that's right. He does have two.
Let me see the balls. Let me see what you're working with there, son. Yeah, I think the internet doesn't want us to see it.
And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. But apparently he was posting ass and balls on the Twitter, on the alt account.
Posting the berries.
Yeah. And he's gone locked, everybody. Yep. Posts are protected. That's why we're not seeing it. All right, well, it's Crypto Scam of the Week time, Brian.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
Is this what I think this is? Is this about a young man exploiting his mom?
It is indeed. Coin called LiveMom. So, I'm sorry. This whole story is just ridiculous. This comes from, I know, a reputable news source, 99 Bitcoins. But here Alex writes, crypto community shocked after mom and son launched a Solana meme coin and promoted the project via a live stream of the mom doing saucy challenges. Now the family has disappeared. The community has taken over. Here's what's going on. So this kid and his mom launched a meme coin on Solana and then went to Kick, a streaming platform. It was kind of generally seen as kind of a right-leaning place. But on Kick, they started e-begging, saying, we're going to, when this gets to a certain thing, the mom will do X. Some of them were 100K, mom slaps me across the face. 200K, eat dog food. $250K, mom pours milk on my head. $300K, mom does 15 squats. $400K, mom does 15 jumping jacks. $500K, pour milk on my mom's chest. $750K, twerk battle with my mom. $1 million plus, mom writes MILF on her chest. $1.5 million plus, Sharpie YELO and JS across both our chests. $2 million plus, mom shaves my head. So that was their goal. Now,
the responses
yeah.
are just like the weirdest fucking bots. Someone has a fake Binance with, we definitely need to discuss something huge for your project. Send me DM.
A great project, fire emoji with huge potential, Rocket. Let's collaborate. Message Rocket at LiveMom. And that's actually 2 different verified accounts responding with that exact same message.
Amazing.
Gee, I wonder. They got to about 300K. The stream then cuts out. The boy says his phone runs out of battery, promising viewers they'll run it back tomorrow. The price then crashes by half almost instantly. Viewers on stream calling it, rightfully, a rug. They kicked up a new stream, LiveMom 2, new token. Half hour later, the stream lasted 15 minutes before the new ticker went to 0. Once the second stream ended, both the Kick account and the LiveMom X account were probably deleted, and the mom and son duo have not been heard from since. This is where it gets incredibly stupid. The original token began pumping out of nowhere, going from 20K market cap to 2.4 mil overnight.
Okay. Yeah. This has been happening a lot though.
Yeah.
There was a poo, as in like a poo, the frog character that everyone says like friends and GM with to each other. That the dev rugged, sold all of his tokens, and it went from, I want to say 800K market cap to, I think the last time I checked, like 300 million.
Jesus wept.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
And fucking insane. The community takeover.
Yeah, well, apparently this has happened with this as too. Here's the video that Doonhammer put up here from the live stream. Meanwhile, in SOL Shitcoin's kid launches coin, and the utility is sexually exploiting his supposed mother, who wants to see these 36 double Bs, she says. He actually suckled on these, she said.
Amazing. We really have so much culture to offer this world.
Doomhammer also coming back with confirmation it was indeed his mom. Community takeover just launched 1 million MCAP. Someone has come forward with the kid's Facebook and requesting money to reveal his identity. Website on the way. Memes being made. More clips from the stream to come. So, ridiculous. That is a hell of a scam. This here from Decrypt. Incestuous degeneracy apparently goes viral quickly. The stream peaked at 1,500 viewers within minutes. In turn, the token began to pump as eggs were cracked on a kid's head. Okay, so he did follow through with at least some of these. Messages like one nipple at 300K, comma, deal, flooded the chat. Dude's 13 and pimping out his mom, another said, while others begged, all caps, take it off, please.
What a time to be alive.
We were baffled, dude. We couldn't believe it. This prepubescent, but also could have been of age kid with his mom enticing viewers to buy a coin with his mom shaking the assets. The marketing, pseudonymous viewer Shamrock told Decrypt. I was laughing my ass off until he rugged.
To be clear, we don't know if the pair in the video are really mother and son, only that they portrayed themselves this way.
Right.
It's also possible that the male in the video is of age, though appears to be quite young. It's also unclear if the pair cashed out and caused the price of the token to crash, but deleting social media accounts and ghosting your investors all are hallmarks of a cryptocurrency rug pull, a type of scam that is all too common in the space.
No, he rugged. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
Well, so they deleted the TG and the Twitter account. That's actually bullish. He has more time to exploit his mom. They don't have to worry about dealing with the socials. They can just work on the product.
Yeah, he can focus. He can get a DAO together. We're all gonna make it.
I mean, a year ago, people were doing fucking cockroach race.
Oh, well,
remember this shit?
Okay, well, at least that was entertaining. I don't know what's entertaining about.
You just don't have an imagination, Jason.
I guess I don't.
All right. Trip report.
Crypto scams. Do not recommend.
So we're really
Yes, we are talking about our
We've
main...
decided to open up our third eye.
We have indeed, yes. Our main topic tonight is Erowid.
Trip report. I smoked some coffee grounds and a burnt banana peel. Would not recommend. Spent 2.5 hours trying to watch the TV Guide channel.
Now, what's interesting about Erowid is that, yes, there's a lot of these stories that you'll hear, trip reports in particular, that are horrifying. But
have a tax ID number, apparently.
Yeah, they are a
501c3.
They are a 501c3. They started in April 1995. Using Proto-Indo-European linguistic roots, Erowid roughly translates into Earth Wisdom. Yeah. So it's donor supported, which means it does not show ads, which is definitely part of the whole 501c3 thing. And their whole thing is, we're going to, warts and all, tell you all about psychoactive plants, chemicals, technologies, and related issues. It has been cited by a number of scientific studies in that they're a harm reduction, which I think is an interesting way to put it. Definitely.
I definitely knew people that before they tried something went on the site and like looked up trip reports and general explanations of the substance or whatever they were about to try, and it gave them a better understanding. Mm-hmm. I most certainly have done that.
In 96, they started putting themselves on search engines. This according to their official About page. Let's see here. They went from 100 daily page views to 1,000 by the end of that first year. And yeah, here it says, the profile of our visitors changed. Many had no foundation of knowledge, no context within which to place the information they were finding on Erowid. We realized these visitors needed more basics, summaries, facts, dosage, and effects descriptions. So we broadened our scope to include more general information and added sections about more common, but arguably less entheogenic substances like cocaine, heroin, amphetamine, and alcohol. So this is essentially a place for you to go to either research a drug you're planning on taking or to give what Brian referenced as a trip report. It's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah. Terrence McKenna
did 10 mgs of DXM and wandered to the gas station and spent 30 minutes trying to figure out which iced tea I wanted to buy from the refrigerated section. Thought I was getting peach, got unsweetened regular, would not recommend.
Right. It's very cut and dried, this stuff, because they do take themselves seriously.
This is very serious. This is intellectual drug usage and information.
And this was a time, I was all of 15, so yeah, I was kind of wandering around the web, and you'd find stuff. But yeah, in 2001, they actually got mentioned in peer-reviewed journals about articles discussing online information about disapproved psychoactives. They got speaking engagements because they were perceived as archivists and librarians, kind of as the guardians of this esoteric knowledge. And so now they are considered a harm reduction group. Now, this stuff is all purely like academic, and they're going to write about it as if it's academic. But for the most part, it's the user stories that are the chunk of Erowid and that account for a lot of the bizarre reputation that the site has, let's say. November of 2015, The New Yorker had a great bit. Emily Witt wrote this called The Trip Planners, which was a profile about the people behind the site. You can't tell a great deal about the webpage Erowid from its homepage. A tagline reads, documenting the complex relationship between humans and psychoactives. This text is surrounded by photographs, a cactus, a cannabis bud, a bottle of ketamine, tabs of LSD. The design looks old, Web 1.0 old, with a simple typeface and a black background. The Tolkien-esque name, the fact page reveals, was coined with assistance from a dictionary of Indo-European roots. It means earth wisdom. Today, Erowid contains highly detailed profiles of more than 350 psychoactive substances from caffeine to methamphetamine. As of 2014, the site had 17 million unique visitors, up from 100 in 1996. So in October of 2015, this writer reached out to these two, who are known only as Earth and Fire, by the way.
Amazing.
Yes, it says, on Erowid, which is run by Earth and Fire, With the help of 2 off-site staffers and many volunteers, you can read about drum circles in the Mind and Spirit section and about Jerry Garcia in Culture and Art. Yeah, really fucking figure that one.
Yeah, no shit. It'd be a little weird if there wasn't a Jerry Garcia section.
You can find the digitized research archives of Albert Hoffman, who first synthesized LSD. So it does have kind of a scientific pedigree almost. But the centerpiece of the site is plants and drugs. Each substance has a vault, which includes pages on many topics like dosage, effects, legal status, history. Some of that experience is derived from experience reports, which are descriptive accounts of drug trips that anyone can submit. Since 2000, Erowid has received more than 100,000 reports and published about a quarter of them. This is also news to me. I did not know that there was stuff that they would not publish, because there's some insane shit on this website. So, speaking of insane shit, I'm going to give you my top 4, maybe top 5, if you're cool with that.
Sure. Watching
the Trees Grow. Black Widow Spider, Alcohol and Cannabis by Vunty86. This is from 2008. Dose, SC, Animals, Black Widow Spider, 4 glasses oral alcohol, beer, and wine, smoked cannabis, body weight 130 pounds. It was college. I was drinking with 3 of my good friends and my girlfriend at the time, and smoking some weed. My ex-girlfriend wanted to get away to have sex in the woods. Needless to say, it was very easy to convince me. As I was mounting her in the dark woods outside of my friend's mountain home, I put my hand in a spider's web that seemed extremely tough and springy. I didn't think anything at the time because I was focused on the job at hand until I felt something crawl onto my hand. I reached to swipe it off, crushing the Black Widow spider, but I felt a stinging in my hand. I tried to continue having sex, but my hand was hurting so bad, and I had to stop. When I stood up, I was very dizzy and disoriented. My ex-girlfriend and I started making our way back to the house, which was about 150 yards away. We didn't go very far into the woods. And about halfway there, my legs gave out. My ex-girlfriend gave me some support, and we got back to the house. It was kind of late, and everybody was really drunk. I looked at my hand, and it was swollen, where the bite was, and there were red marks around it. I was starting to feel really strange, and I knew it wasn't just the alcohol. I remember my ex-girlfriend wanting someone to take me to the hospital, an argument ensuing over why we shouldn't drink and drive, and where the nearest hospital was. My best friend was on my ex-girlfriend's side and said he didn't give a fuck and he would drive me to the hospital, which was about an hour away. I had been lying on the couch for a while, not sure how long, and I tried to stand up and fell straight down. I thought it was hilarious, but inside I knew something was very wrong. My ex-girlfriend and my friend carried me to his truck and put me in the back seat. This is when the blackouts and hallucinations began. The spider poison gave me a trip I had never had before, and I have tripped on everything but mescaline, including DXM. In the back of the truck, I was looking out the window as my ex-girlfriend cried, and my friend got on the CB radio, not giving a damn about anything. There were parts of the trip where I felt like it was in a bubble, parts where I watched the trees grow really, really tall and then shrink back to normal, and saying a bunch of random shit I don't remember. I know that about 30 minutes in, my friends couldn't even understand what I was saying because my speech was slurred so bad. We made it to the ER room where the nurse was waiting with a wheelchair, and they checked me in. They asked me how bad it hurt on a scale of 1 to 10, and even with the beer and the weed numbing the pain, I said it was an 11. The doctor who treated me at 3 a.m. was drunker and nearly as fucked up as I was. He slurred his speech really bad, and all I could do was laugh in his face. I asked my friends what he was saying, and they don't know to this day. We just do impressions of him. I think I laughed in his face because I was laughing. He ended up giving me some shot, keeping me for 30 minutes, and releasing me with 20 10mg Oxycontins. Score! On the way back, my ex-girlfriend and I finished our business in the back of my friend's car against his wishes. Holy
Classic.
shit, man.
This was submitted in 2008.
It says it took place in 2004.
Interesting. So this guy held on to this for 4 years, and he was like, you know what? I ain't talking about that time I was fucking. Got bit by a goddamn black widow. Amazing.
And it's written up so, like everything. It's all, age at time of experience not given. Oh Lord.
We're gonna say fairly young.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. LSD, crack, and 5-MeO DMT.
Hell yeah! By Todd the Pod.
Todd the Pod.
All right, this was May 20th, 2002. Dose was 3 hits of LSD, blotter tabs, 1 hit of smoked crack, power / crystals. Oh, the dose. There's time in here. So the crack was I want to say an
hour 39. Yeah,
hour 39 after the 3 hits of acid. Then he topped that all off hour and 55 with 1 hit of smoked DMT, body weight 150 pounds.
Okay.
Day 1, 2 of my friends and I drove to California and got a hotel near Six Flags Magic Mountain. We brought 9 hits of acid, which was in the form of Smarties, about 3/4 gram of crack, and some 5-MeO DMT, which my friends didn't tell me about until it was too late. We also had a wheelchair, a big blanket, a crack pipe, a lighter, and a small notepad with pen and money for tickets. Before the experience, I had only done acid once with 2 hits. I tried crack once, about 1/4 of a gram, and other than that, I've only ever smoked weed. I ain't even been on a roller coaster before this day.
Oh my God.
We were all in a pretty good mood, but I was nervous because I was the least experienced one with drugs and amusement parks. Day 2, 7 a.m. We wake up, each take 3 hits of acid and eat a small meal from the hotel. We load the crack pipe and leave for the park. 7:28, we get to Six Flags and start waiting in line. I start feeling nervous and jittery, but my friends don't feel anything yet. 7:46, we finally get to the front of the line and the acid has begun to kick in for all of us. Visuals start about the same time we get through into the park. 8:02, we arrive at Superman Ride of Steel and start waiting. People offer us to cut, but we are just going to wait for the acid to kick in a little more, so we stay in the back of the line. 8:39, arrive about 2 people towards the front. My friend gives me a cue to take a hit from the crack pipe. I hit the pipe under the big blanket and take a huge toke. I try to hold it in, but my head started feeling way bigger and uncomfortable, so I blow it out the smoke. I turn to look at my friend, almost go blind. I see extremely bright lights, and noises seem to blend into this frightening groan. I started wondering if this really was the crack reacting with the acid, but I couldn't keep a train of thought going. 8:42. They say we can get on the ride. My friends have to pretty much drag me onto the ride as I'm gripping the wheelchair as if my life depended on it. I keep slipping in and out of reality, wondering if I'm on the ride. The ride starts. 8:43. I just lose it. I feel like I'm going 10,000 miles per hour through a void. I start screaming and crying. All my muscles tighten up, and I sweat like crazy. We get to the top, and I start crying. We roll back down, and wait to get off the ride. 8:48. My friends quickly get me on the wheelchair and push me away from the crowds. I look down and notice I've wet my pants and puked all over myself, which I don't remember even doing. My face is still pouring with sweat and tears. My friends try to calm me down, give me a soda, and telling me everything will be okay. My friends told me they mixed some 5-MeO DMT with the crack. I asked, what is that? They said toe venom and explained it. They had to repeat a lot of stuff because their voices were distorted, and I had to hear things 2 or 3 times to understand it. I feel better because I feel the 5-MeO DMT wearing off. The acid is still running strong, and I still feel dirty from the body fluids. I see a crowd of people, and I think they are all laughing and pointing at me. They start to come closer, and I tell my friends to avoid the crowd. They look over and told me that they were actually walking away. 9:12. My friends are still talking to me, and I ask, what do I do about my clothes? They say, this might happen. We are prepared. They told me that there was one spare change of clothes that would fit any of us under the wheelchair. I thanked them, and now I am a lot happier. 9:20, we go to where no one can see us. I stand up and bring the clothes into a bathroom, hoping nobody would be in there. There was one person, and they looked at me, but they didn't say anything about the puke or the pee. I quickly go into a stall and start undressing. After what feels like 4 hours, I finally get all my clothes on and join my friends. 9:35. I asked how long I took. He said 15 minutes. I put the dirty clothes and blanket under the wheelchair. I looked up at my friend's face and stare. His freckles jumped out of his head and his face melts, turning into pixels and other various things. He said, "Be careful, dude. Your pupils are so dilated." 9:40. I asked my friend to ride the wheelchair. He said, "Okay, it's not too dirty. Walking feels great." I apologized to my friends for wasting time getting dressed and whatnot. But they said it was cool. They were so sorry for giving me 5 MEO without permission. We are all now in a mood where we feel like we need to apologize. The rest of the day, we went on a few more rides, and my friends found places to take hits from the pipe before going on them. We each took one hit from the pipe, and each went on a different ride while on the 5 MEO. I didn't go in on any more roller coasters, but some other rides. While I waited for my friends, I walked around trying to avoid people. I was very paranoid. Day 3, I was very sore, especially my neck. That was probably because I tightened my muscles on the roller coasters. I will never go on a roller coaster or take 5 MEO DMT again, purposely, but still might do acid to confront my problems. Final note, I wouldn't recommend doing any drugs on roller coasters unless you like very intense stuff. I wouldn't recommend bringing a crack pipe to such a public place, much less smoking out of it. I was very lucky. Some people may say unlucky that I didn't get caught.
Experience year 2001. Hopefully, this is the worst thing that happened to that guy that year.
Yeah. Can't really get much any worse. Unless he died.
LSD, crack, and toad venom, Brian. And he didn't even know he was doing the toad venom. So there were people on there doing Datra.
Wow.
And the title of this one, That Terrified Naked Man in the Corner Is Me, by Craig. 600 seeds, Jesus. Orally, he says. Jen, a friend of mine, came to sit with us. We ingested 600 seeds each as quickly as possible and washed them down with a glass of milk. We then locked all the doors and windows to my house as to prevent any drug-induced rampages, police run-ins, or worse. Chris and I plopped down in front of my new big screen and began watching a movie. About an hour into it, I started to feel the effects. The dry mouth came on, as in other trip reports. I had no idea it would be this strong. My legs felt like rubber, and my body was completely out of whack. I looked over to Chris to tell him it was kicking in and found even this simple task disorienting. He confirmed the same experience thus far. In what was the stupidest move of the century, Jen decided she was bored and she would take 150 seeds. Now, she's had her experiences with drugs before, but she was our sitter. The Sherpa decided to...
I've had that problem.
Yeah. Time plus 3 hours. As time passed, it seemed to stretch. Much like a DXM trip, I lost reference of time. The only indicator was a digital clock, which would have been impossible to read if it weren't for the large readout. The movie had since finished, and the television was airing some show about cops. I honestly couldn't tell you what it was I was watching, but all the lights and colors melded into this visual supernova that I couldn't stop staring at. Chris grunted strangely and looked over to see him sliding off the couch. I became frightened because at that very moment, the room had vanished. We were stranded on a couch in a burning hallway. I grabbed Chris and pulled him back onto the couch so that he wouldn't get burned. He looked at me with his massive pupils and spoke an unrecognizable string of words. Time slowed as he spoke. His voice echoed in slow motion, and his pupils expanded beyond his eyes, spiraling toward me. I was intrigued at what I was seeing when Jen grabbed my shoulder from the other couch. She was engulfed in flames and ran from the couch up into my bedroom. I laid on my bed trying to make sense of everything when I saw a man looking through the window. Unable to make out his face, I was frightened. It was dark outside, and I was on the second floor. Impossible, but I believed it. Trip plus 5 hours. Jen opened the door to my room. She shouted something and laid next to me. Her face twisted and turned as I stared, and I couldn't remember where we were. Time plus 8. I must have blacked out because 3 hours had passed, and I was still lying with Jen on my bed, only now we were both naked. Did we have sex? Why was I naked? What happened? I had no explanation, but somehow I didn't seem to need one. We tried to have sex, which is weird in itself since we had never so much as kissed before this. I was too far gone to know what I was doing, and then I went black again. Time plus 11 hours. I came to, sprawled on my bedroom floor. I was now by myself. I noticed a residue on my body, leading me to believe that we had sex, but Jen was nowhere to be found. I walked into the kitchen looking for her, but there was no kitchen beyond my bedroom door. I stepped into a supermarket, only it was closed. There was no food on the shelves. I ran back downstairs into the TV room where I had last seen Chris. The room was black. I saw nothing but a body hovering in midair. It was Chris, who seemed to be sleeping. Trip plus 12 hours. I decided I needed a cigarette. Interestingly, I had one in my ear at the time. I smoked it and took another one from my now reloaded ear. Where were these coming from? Trip plus 13 hours. I grew tired but still hadn't found Jen. I walked upstairs and immediately upon opening the door needed to lie down. I thought I was in some kind of endless field and that I was sleeping on the grass. There I slept for almost 20 hours. Trip plus 33 hours. I awoke still hallucinating. I didn't know where I was or how I'd gotten there, but it seemed to be a house that wasn't my own. I proceeded into the living room to come across a naked woman, Jen. She sat in her chair talking to nobody. When I entered the room, she saw me and immediately took off running. Where did she go? Who was she? Trip plus 35 hours. I needed to leave. I was in a strange house and I was stuck. I ventured into what I thought was a bedroom. It turned out to be a balcony. On the balcony, I found a man's clothing, but no man. Were these mine? I looked out into the backyard, and there on the ground was a man naked. Somebody had fallen. Luckily, they landed in the water. Trip plus 36 hours. I proceeded into the next room, intrigued as if I were investigating some deserted mansion. A radio hummed, although I saw no radio. I noticed a sliding glass door to the back and tried to open it. There was a strange door, and I couldn't seem to open it. I felt trapped. I knew it was some kind of illusion. I jumped through it, and I was right. There was nothing there. And I was finally outside, free from the prison. There was a truck on the side of the road that I noticed from where I was standing. I decided to hitch a ride and try to get back home. Mind you, this guy's still naked. I jumped into the bed of the truck and waited. Shortly thereafter, the driver got in and we were off. I laid still so not to attract attention, when all of a sudden a friend of mine from high school appeared. I hadn't seen him in ages, but he was going to blow my cover. I remembered I was naked, but I didn't want him to see me. I tried to close my eyes, but he was still there. I shouted and tried to struggle with him, but he disappeared. Trip plus question. The truck stopped. I was found out. The driver got out and saw me. He had no facial features, no eyes, no mouth, no nose. I jumped from the bed and began to run, naked and scared. This is my last memory. There is no further evidence as to what happened after this point, but I awoke hours later, finally somewhat sober. I opened my eyes and there were 3 people staring at me. I was naked, bleeded, and covered in my own feces. I huddled in the corner of whatever room I was in. It was a family. They found me and tried to keep me safe. I was in southern New Hampshire after starting in Maine. I was almost 3 hours from my home with no recollection of how I got there. The family offered me clothing and enough money to take the bus back home. Aftermath. I returned home to find my house in ruins. The sliding glass door I had imagined was my bedroom window. Chris was lying on the ground in my yard after falling from the 2nd floor. He had no clothing on. He was alive, but broke his right leg. I found Jen in my bathtub, still naked and sleeping. My life was hysteria for 48 hours. I am not sure how all 3 of us survived that trip. Whew.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's the... I love the warning on the bottom of every page on Erowid, by the way. Terms of use. By accessing this page, you agree not to download, analyze, distill, reuse, digest, or feed into any AI-type system the report data without first contacting Erowid Center and receiving written permission. Uh-oh.
Our large language model shitfucker. It's the AI that shits fuck.
Experience reports are the writings and opinions of the authors who submit them. Some of the activities described are dangerous and or illegal, and none of them are recommended by the Erowid Center. Well, that's good to know. Putting your hand in a black widow's nest, not good. Taking Datura, not good. There's some real long ones, but anyway, you kind of get the idea. Definitely a field guide to psychedelics. This bit from the New Yorker wrapping it up. Some of them are positive, others are not. Existential horror, unimaginable depths of terror, convulsions, seizures, vomiting. That's definitely kind of the greatest hits there. But Erowid, what an interesting thing to read. It's like TV tropes, but if you really like hearing people tell you how high that got one time.
I did ayahuasca and learned about the blockchain. I gotta ask you, Jason. Do you, if you had an opportunity to submit a trip report, would you have something to submit?
Not really. I mean,
they're pretty boring.
I'm very boring. Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty boring too, but I at least have a couple.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you what time I did DXM?
No, God.
Oh man, it was fucking. It kind of fucked up my brain. So I was in a band when I was like 20, 19 or 20. The guitar player. I mean, this was like a band that was very much heavily inspired by like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Dandy Warhols, Brian Jones on Massacre. So like lots of semi-hollow body guitars and like corduroy, and I had listened to some pretty fucking terrible music. But then I'd be like, hey, can we listen to like Beck? And they'd be like, I don't know if I like this. I'm like, dude, it's fucking mellow gold. Who doesn't like mellow? Anyways. The guitar player was like, oh, I know a guy who gets DXM, and the singer of the band was like really interested in that kind of stuff, expanding his mind and all that.
Okay.
Because he was kind of like a bored, privileged kid from Old Town St. Charles, and I guess he didn't have enough trauma in his life.
he needed
fresh some drugs.
Yeah.
It was a Friday night. This guy comes over that the guitarist knows. And he's like this chubby guy who's just a grating personality. And he is a music school teacher at a Catholic school.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, this is already weird enough. And he like goes over, because we had keyboardists in the band. And he goes over to her keyboard. And he starts playing a Doors song. And I'm like, oh
no, one of those.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I'm just like, I mean, you got to think, like, I'm a pretty mean person now, but imagine how mean I was 17 years ago.
Right.
That was pretty fucking brutal. And I'm just like biting my tongue because I'm like, I don't know, DXM sounds, it's the cough syrup thing, But he had it in powder form, and he took like vitamin D capsules, like gel caps. And he had some way of measuring it out, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to give you a hero dose or anything. Since first time, since it's your first time doing psychedelics." So he gave me what was supposed to be like a pretty light first timers dose. We were supposed to have someone, and I think it was a guitar player and his girlfriend. No, his girlfriend and her friend were supposed to be our Sherpas. So we took the DXM. We walked down to the gas station down the street, got some snacks, came back, and in just that amount of time, I was starting to feel it. And I laid down on a couch in like the den of this house that the guitar player or the singer lived in. I was pretty much couch locked from that moment. Like I had like a soda and like some snacks, and I was pretty much done. And what really fucking sucks is that the singer had like a 300 CD disc changer, and he like set everything up like, dude, we're gonna have ourselves a nice little trip. We're gonna start out with this record, we're gonna move into all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. But little did we know that when we were like doing something, the fucking music teacher walked into the room with the CD changer, took out like half the CDs and replaced them with stuff from his own fucking collection. So it was like literally like fucking Dave Matthews Band and shit. And I remember laying on this couch. The dude's girlfriend and her friend left.
Oh, Jesus.
Because they were bored. And this probably wasn't even midnight. I can't stand up. Because all I want to do, because the fucking music teacher, he's falling asleep. He's snoring ass up in the air. In the fucking den living room space in this house.
Right.
I'm just like fucking losing my mind. Because like, all I can think of is that I'm going to, because my heart, because one of the things about DXM is your heart can beat really fast.
Yeah.
I can just hear my heart going like real hard, like at least 160 BPM. Like if you're working out or like jogging or something, that's not uncommon. But like if you're just like laying on the couch, like, that's probably bad.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm going to die.
Right.
And my parents are going to be so embarrassed because I died listening to Dave Matthews Band. Like I fixated on that thought for a very, very long time.
Oh, no.
And then when these songs would end, this Dave Matthews record, when one song would end and the other would begin, I would have a visual hallucination on the wall in front of the couch. So I'm laying on the couch was up against the wall.
Yeah.
But I'm laying on it, so the corner wall. I'm watching like fractals and things like that. But the one that always stuck with me was I was really in a depressive episode because I can't get off this couch. My legs don't work.
Yeah.
And I'm having to listen to Dave fucking Matthews Band. When at least if I was like listening to like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club or Dandy Warhols, I could at least like bob my head along. Like, yeah, this could be worse.
Yeah.
But I'm having to listen. I mean, Dave Matthews Band is fucking. I mean, if you played, you could. It's torture music.
Yeah. Yeah. You would get any information.
Oh, I would rat out on all of
yeah.
my friends.
Oh yeah. You get me singing like a canary. You put me.
Oh, absolutely. But I remember one song ended and the other began, and the vision I had was a sweatshop full of black women and like the Dominican Republic putting together Awaya car stereos. And yeah. So at some point I'm able to get my feet back just barely. I feel like I have to shit. And this is an old house, sound really travels, the bathroom's in a weird place. And I'm just like, how am I going to, everyone's going to hear me, whatever I'm doing.
You got the.
But the thing is, to get to the bathroom, I had to go through the band room. So I'm not trying to trip over everyone's like guitars and stuff and like, all the instrument cable everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Of course, it's all. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Because like some of them were trying to jam out before and it didn't really work out that well. But I get to the bathroom, which is in the back of the house. And I sit on the toilet, and I don't even think to like do something like run the water, but I loosen myself.
Okay.
And I do not excrete any feces, but I do have probably the loudest fart I've ever had in my life. In this dead silent house at probably like 6 a.m. And the only way I can really express how this fart sounded being echoed through this bathroom, because it's already, again, a very boomy house.
Yeah, yeah.
All I can really describe is if like someone shot a cannonball at a very heavy rug that was held up in the air. Just like a real thud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that didn't go anywhere. I still feel like I need to shit, but whatever. And so I like wash my hands and I blind man walk back to the couch, and the singer comes to, and this is a part of the story I had not remembered until now, but the singer had to get on a plane.
Oh,
he had to be like on the plane at like 9 or 10 a.m.
Oh no.
And he ended up driving his ass on fucking DXM to the fucking airport, or he drove somewhere and had like his mom take him or something. But I'm just like thinking like, this is fucked. And like me and him both like had to kick the music teacher guy out.
He stayed the night?
Yeah, because he fucking fell asleep after replacing all of the music. And he had like come back at another time to get his CDs.
Yeah.
But we're like, you gotta fucking go. And I remember like showing back up because I was still like in college living with my mom. I show up at her back at the house, and this is probably like 8 a.m. And she looks at me and she goes, "What's going on?" I was just like,
yeah.
We stayed up late, like watching movies and playing music.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of sleep. Yeah.
And my mom probably, if I asked her, would probably be like, yeah, I knew you were probably fucked up on something. But I was kind of, for all of the stories I tell about being like a shitty kid, I was also kind of a really good kid.
Yeah.
So my mom, I probably have openly talked about how my mom was kind of did not let me have like a good teenage year. But my mom kind of did make up for it, because when I would do that shit, like when she would catch me with booze or something, she would just kind of like shake her head.
Right.
And I never really got punished. Because it was like, well, you came home sober.
Yeah.
You just had it in your trunk.
Right.
And things like that. And, so she would confiscate it and then tell me about how she took it to like a friend's Christmas party and they all drank it. And I'm like, fuck.
Right. God damn it.
Yeah, no,
good money for that.
The one time she found like a trash bag full of booze in my trunk, which I don't know where she never, if I ever came home like late, if I like stayed over at a friend's house and like, or knew that I went out and we were going to like another person's place that she didn't necessarily know, never asked to check the trunk.
Right.
But the one time I had stuff in the trunk, she's like, let me see the trunk.
Yeah.
The thing was like half of the stuff was like wine coolers, like Bartles and James.
No.
And I was just like, I'm just like thinking like, you know what? It'd be really funny to have these and show up at a house party, like with some Bartles and James, like, because because I'm at the age where people are gonna be having house parties.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, if I show up over at fucking Hanky's with some fucking something really ironic like Bartles and James, like. Maybe some girl with like a fucking eyebrow piercing will want to make out with me. You know, that's a cool idea. I'm like 20. Right. I think that's pretty tight.
This seems the thing.
The thing is like the thing to do.
Yeah.
The funny thing is like probably the better I've gotten at being a person, the more unattractive I've gotten physically. Yeah. You've seen photos of me when I was like young like that, and like I do not look like the same. But I like had no idea when I was like a teenager or like in my early 20s I was like hot.
No.
And it wasn't until like I got like starting to look a little bit like my dad that I realized like, oh, I really had some, and I even had like some like people I had like hooked up with or like dated like tell me as like a person in my 30s like, God, you were just so fucking hot when you were like 22. You just couldn't shut the fuck up. Like you couldn't stop talking shit. Like every single time I see you at a house party and would want to hook up with you, you were getting in a fight with some dude with like a lip ring. And fucking greasy hair because like you said that like fucking Slayer was for
see,
you know, like I'm like, well,
it is.
Yeah. God, just
I don't have any exciting stories like that. I think I'm a boring guy. You don't know this about
shrooms
me,
a couple times. I've had pretty much a good experience with that. First time, took a real modest amount. I had really light hallucinogenic experiences. Really just kind of felt like I was in a good mood.
Yeah.
We took my buddy's dog. He had a pug. We took Doug the pug to the park across the street, Compton Park. We tired that fucking dog out. This is a dog that would play fetch, do all kinds of dumb shit. I never, like, we had to, like, pick him up. But then as, like, shit started to hit, like, we're, like, fucking, like gesturing each other with big fucking sticks we found. Like, yeah. And, I remember like taking photos. Maybe I had a camera with me, but it was like me, my buddy, and his girlfriend. We were just like fucking. This is great. We got some like blackthorn pizza delivered to us. Funny thing about this story, I had to take them to the airport in the morning.
God damn, what is it with?
I don't know. Like I also don't know what people like. I want to do hallucinogenics and also then go.
Yeah.
Because I've been on
the Burger Records story that you told about the guy. He had to go to the airport that day too.
Yeah, they got fucking really fucking high, and like I've taken an edible and gone on a flight.
Yeah, an edible is one thing, but acid's another. You know?
Yeah,
like,
they both the Burger Records story. One guy took acid, but he was coming down before they started smoking. So I think that's a little bit of a different experience. But I think having to navigate an airport when you're really fucking high and also like the anxiety that some people might experience with flying while high. I think some people might do well, but I don't think most do. But
yeah, I wouldn't take an edible until I'm actually on the plane.
Yeah,
I'd wait.
But but doing shrooms, like, just had like a really great, like, mild experience. Didn't really have any big visual hallucinations. My friend and his girlfriend didn't really report anything heavy. Just like a good, like, fucking watching Simpsons on DVD. Just having like a really great time. And I do understand why they're looking at, magic mushrooms for like, depression and all that.
Yeah.
Because again, I took a very small amount, just enough to get myself going.
Right.
And like I was in a great mood for like a fucking week. Like I don't think I have felt that good since. I mean, like just like being in a good headspace.
You hear about microdosing.
Yeah.
You hear about microdosing all the time as it's like we're getting through the day.
And the second time I took mushrooms, like I took a smaller amount than I did the time before because I was kind of like the DD for the situation. We were in Springfield, And everyone else had taken much more. And I just actually honestly just like felt the mushrooms for like an hour and a half and they were gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really all I wanted. And I had like, it was a great show. Had a great fucking time. Just like kind of fucking chilling the fuck out, feeling good. You know, I get into the car to go back to the house that we were staying at. I like pull out of the parking space and everyone in the car with me starts freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, oh yeah, we forgot you really didn't do any shrooms. We think because I guess I kind of had like a lead foot backing out of the space,
and they're thinking, "Oh, he's gonna kill us all."
I'm fucking. That's right. We're all going to hell, and I'm punching the ticket.
You're coming with me.
So we got something a little special here.
I do. Oh man, this is another blast from the past. It's shock.jpg time.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Shock.jpg.
This one is called Wet Ice Cream, Brian.
Oh, no. Oh, this is... The mind reels.
I was going to say, do you know this one?
I don't.
Okay.
But it hurts me to think about what wet ice cream could be. Is it pee-pee or is it poo-poo?
Well, it is definitely one of those two things. Here, let's.
Oh, excellent. It could be both.
It was a flash video, but...
Thanks to Ruffle.
Big time.
Okay, what we got here? What we got? Is it going to be gross?
Yeah.
I guess if it's shock.jpg,
I was going
to
say,
gross.
It's by definition. Here's a young woman eating a fudge ice cream cone and eating another woman's pussy, but there it goes. The receiver of the oral sex begins to piss in the other woman's mouth as she's eating the ice cream. Soaking that ice cream. It's like one of those Magnum bars, I think.
It's like a good bar.
Oh, just pissing everywhere.
So much. I have bladder control problems when she's older. If she's holding it in like that.
And then the girl that's pissing is like sticking her tongue out like, yeah.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah.
Well, and also the piss like blew off half the... So... That's not even the good use of
warm,
the that's not even the good use of that cool treat.
And then
she's gonna get a yeast infection.
Yeah, I know. She's rubbing the ice cream. Oh, and then she's inserting the stick, the wooden stick.
There's a little bit of ice cream still on there. God, that's
good.
upsetting.
Yeah,
it's not cash money to me.
It's not cash money. It continues on for it feels like a good long while.
God, we're a minute,
we're
15 in.
Yeah. Okay, and again, licking.
Wow, you're really getting in there.
The receiver does not look very enthused by this, by the way. That's the part that I think is the funniest. And yes, it comes up with the advertisement for lemonparty.org at the end.
EpicChat.net.
Oh, yeah.
You've never seen a chat so epic. Wow, that was no sound on that.
No sound on that. I thought it had a song originally, but nothing's coming through.
I guess you were wrong, Jason. I guess you fucked up.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm just really wondering when you're going to get your shit together and get the right fucked up video with the fucking hamster dance music or something.
I know. One of these days.
What number episode is this?
95. We're on episode 95. Early June will be our 100th episode, and I think it might be finally time to do Dan Quinn. No intro, no crypto, just Dan Quinn. All the episode. What do you think?
Yeah, because actually that plays into one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Excellent.
For the breath mint.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do that thing then. Let's hit the intro.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
All right, it's breath mint time, Brian.
Lots of live music to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'll start off here first with the Dan Quinn related dealio because you were also at this show. You were also at Death Cab for Cutie.
I was.
Postal Service, and apparently everyone our age was there and having a moment.
Yeah.
As I was telling another photographer, neither one of these albums were really big for me. They were they were very big for many people I made out with.
Right.
In the 2000s. So I'll cheers to that.
Yeah, for sure. Enabling a lot of great makeouts, those two records.
Yes, yeah.
That's the Death Cab for Cutie album, Transatlanticism, and the Postal Service's one and only album, Give Up, by the way. So
that was the 20th anniversary for both of those.
Yes. That's staggering to think that those were released the same year. It is fucking
wild. But I thought Death Cab was good. again, not a big Death Cab fan. I've photographed them before. Like, I was like, oh yeah, these are great songs, and I understand why this album is important. I feel like that sound has been reiterated on so much that it's kind of lost its polish.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I like first heard that record like in 2005, I'm sure I was like, oh shit, this is pretty wild.
One of the first big indie post 9/11 records that hit in a way that some people felt really strongly about. And the whole record is about, you know, growing up and kind of not being in your 20s anymore.
Yeah, kind of feeling weird and fucked about things. And
yeah, like a good record, but a good live show as well. I was really impressed with the fact that they managed to make 20-year-old material still sound good live.
Yeah.
Which I don't always think is necessarily possible. Like, some time has passed, you've kind of lost your connection with the material,
but it hit.
Oh yeah, it hit.
But the Dan Quinn thing was that, like, I was getting ready for that show and I was thinking about the video of Dan Quinn in the fucking stand-up tanning booth, and he's like talking some shit to like Dada 5000, or you know which video I'm talking about, right? There's one where he's like talking some crazy shit to like Dada 5000.
He's got the goggles on. I can see it in my mind's eye.
And a fucking Death Cab for Cutie song's playing in the background.
From that album.
I don't think it's from Transatlanticism. It's the I've got some time on you.
Oh, from Narrow Stairs.
Yes.
I will possess your heart. Yeah,
I will possess your heart. Yeah. Well, it's just like so weird. He's like talking shit to like some UFC wrestlers, UFC fighter, and that song's playing in the background. It's so fucking weird.
And he's got this suntan goggles on. I can see it. Yeah, he's standing up in a tanning, but yeah, it's ridiculous.
So fucking good. But
absolutely.
But Postal Service, man, I think that's where the money was at.
Yeah, and that's always where the money's been at. I mean, you and I saw them at Lollapalooza 10 years ago.
Yeah,
like nothing's changed. They're tight as ever. Jenny Lewis was at both of them, which still surprised me.
Yeah,
she's got her own solo career. It's going pretty well.
She just finished the tour.
Right. That's what I thought. Like, well, okay, she's going to take a break. She's not going to go on tour with Postal Service. They're going to have a ringer. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have some sound alike that's going to be up there. So I messaged you, like, what's the over-under on Jenny Lewis appearing? And you go, no, she's here.
Yeah, because I already heard.
Oh,
and
okay.
Like, well, because like I was talking with some like the Live Nation people that were in the press area, and they were like, "Oh yeah, she's here. Like we saw her. She's looking great." And I'm like, "Oh okay, cool."
Fucking A, man. Stevie Nicks dress and all.
Yeah. Playing this really cool looking Telecaster Deluxe with like a Felon Blue glitter finish with the matching headstock, and like
all I could see was it reflecting the stage lights back at me from where I was sitting. I'm up in the nose. That's what I can afford.
But yeah,
great show though.
Just absolutely great show. I didn't stay all the way through Postal Service as much as I wanted to because I was fucking getting tired.
Well, yeah, I mean that happened.
Well, like because I'm at the gym all the time, my shoulders are just really fucking just not up for holding up a camera bag right now. Like, it actually happened at the Slowdive show.
Oh yeah,
where I'm trying to photograph Slowdive, and like my shoulders and like, yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping a camera up to my face, and the camera does not weigh much.
No, but you're working it. So yeah, you've got that muscle fatigue thing going on. But yeah, it was nice to hang with you at the Slowdive show because boy, like you said, the guy watching hockey, and we got Bert talking about, you know, other shows that are coming up, and Kendrick's dropping a fucking diss track. Like, just all this shit's happening at once while we're there to see a band that's never played St. Louis.
Yeah, sold out show.
Yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic show. So fucking good.
And honestly, I knew maybe 3 Slowdive songs, but I knew enough that, like, this is historic. These
Slovakia Space Station, When the Sun Hits, you know. And, like, I don't know, I think one of the things that really hits home about them reforming and coming out with this new material is, like, they fucking made good on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bands that got back together for Coachella or some shit, and it just sucks.
They avoided all that, Slowdive did, and managed to just put on a hell of a show.
I remember Refuse came out with a new record.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Same
man,
problem.
fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Slowdive stuff. Some people are like, oh, it's not that good. I'm like, man, it's like listenable and like it feels right. it feels like a continuation of what they were doing before.
It feels like they didn't skip a beat. It was just
Yeah.
like, this is what we're doing.
Whereas, like, if I had to sit next to Frank Black on a plane, I'd be like, man, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know that I would just I'd put my headphones on and just be like, hey, yeah, nice to meet you. I'm over.
Yeah. Because like
If I met you 20 years ago, I'd be losing my shit. But
yeah, well, I mean, I say it in my review is there's so many bands that had this cult-like status in the 90s, after they broke up,
right,
and into the 2000s, and then they get back together, and you're like, oh, this is really tight, and then they start coming out with new stuff, and you're like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah,
and I don't think any band has ruined their reputation more than the Pixies. Because, 20 years ago, the Pixies were, like, godlike.
Unimpeachable.
Yeah.
Couldn't touch them.
And now, if I see the Pixies on a fucking lineup for a festival, I'm like, fuck, man. Really?
Skip.
We're doing this shit?
Skip it.
I'd rather sit through another fucking Girl Talk set.
No, Girl Talk sets are great because they're at least high energy.
Sure. But
at the very least. Yeah.
But it's like another thing that was, like, done to the fucking ground. Because I remember...
mashups, yeah.
Because I remember there was... that one year at Lou Fest where like the two headliners were Girl Talk and I think it was Girl Talk and Flaming Lips, those fucking Republicans. I've heard weird shit about that dude Wayne's like thoughts about the world.
Yeah.
And he sounds like a Fox News kind of guy. It's I'm sure he was a QAnon dude.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I'll give him credit for one thing, is that he did a record with Miley Cyrus. And it's probably the best thing she's ever done. Anyway.
Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets.
Dead Pets, yeah.
I guess I'll have to give that a half-ass listen. But yeah, I remember it was like one night the headliner was them, and the next night I think the headliner was Girl Talk. I remember just thinking like, wow, they just don't really think shit about us.
I don't know about that.
Because that used to be the joke. I felt like the Flaming Lips was like real fucking low bar stuff for us to like. Like, this is really fucking... There's no imagination in liking the Flaming Lips, in my opinion. It's like saying you like ice cream. Everyone likes fucking ice cream. You're not fucking special. Oh, were we really like... Because
it's like saying you like Pink Floyd. Yeah.
It's just like we could be a little bit more interesting than this.
Sure.
And the same thing with Girl Talk. It's like, wow... Because there was actually a couple of years of Lou Fest where they actually booked really adventurous schedules,
right,
or real adventurous lineups, and we didn't really show up. So the last year that conglomerate, or that group of people were heading Lou Fest, I think they were just like, fuck it. Well, if they want fucking garbage, we'll give them garbage. Here's your Flaming Lips and your Girl Talk. And I kind of felt like it was like, here, piggies, enjoy your slop.
Yeah.
We tried booking really cool shit like Das Racist and all that and the Magnetic Fields, and you guys couldn't show up. And we can't even get Jeff Tweedy to like give a shit.
It's hard to imagine what you can do to get Jeff Tweedy to give a shit.
Well, anyway. Inside baseball is that the reason why the first year of Lou Fest was just Jeff Tweedy and not Wilco is because apparently the guys who started Lou Fest were such fucking pains in the ass that he's like, I'm not going to put like my road crew and the whole entire band through this bullshit.
Oh, so he just played solo?
Here, I'll just be me and an acoustic guitar.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, Slowdive was fucking great. It was such a great show.
Now that would have been a show to do psychedelics at. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Sound-wise, just
really... I mean, that last song that they played, which was Golden Hair, which is a Syd Barrett cover.
Yeah.
I just remember like feeling like my stomach tense up like I was on a roller coaster. And then it was like over. And I'm like, wow.
Like when you step on land after you've been on a boat for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I had that exact same, like I'm walking out to the parking lot with you and going like, wow.
Yeah, it was a real tour de force. The opener, Drab Majesty, were a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, gosh, so much music to talk about.
Oh, no.
Slowdive. I saw Portugal the Man.
Yeah, how was that?
That was great. I mean, they're always great. I've seen Portugal the Man live like 5 or 6 times. And they played some of their new stuff, which is okay. But they played a lot of stuff from Evil Friends, their 2013 release, which I think is probably one of the most underrated records of that decade. I remember it not getting well reviewed. It's actually probably one of the few records that Danger Mouse has produced that's actually good. I think that guy has made a lot of crap records. But I think it's probably his only like really great record. But Evil Friends is one of those records where like everyone fucking hated it. but it's like a 12-track record, and like 10 of them are fucking singles.
Okay.
Like, it's just like, oh, wow, this is a fucking amazing record. Everyone fucking hated it. But now that everyone sees what else they've made since then, they're like, oh, yeah, this was pretty good. Because the record that had Feel It Still on, like, it's fine. It's not a bad record, but there's no second single. And that used to, I remember actually when that song fucking blew up, the day job I had at the time were like, this guy's, wow, what's this band called? Portugal the Man? Fuck, man. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, actually, it's funny that this song is everywhere, because the last time I saw them play, it was at the pageant, and I don't even think there was 300 people. And he's like, what?
Ooh, that's painful.
Oh, man, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, like, and it was behind a record that's nothing but singles. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, and there's no second single on this record. There's no fucking second single. And they tried to make a song a second single the best they could, and it was fine. Yeah. But it was, like, you go back and you look at Evil Friends, and you're just like, wow, yeah, this is front to back a fucking amazing record. But they put on a great show. I'm glad that they finally got the audience that they deserve. I don't think it was sold out, but it was pretty close. But I had a good time.
No, you weren't shooting that one. That was just
no. I was like, well, I photographed this so many times, and they always have really tough lighting. But then they didn't have anyone in the photo pit.
Oh no!
Except for like their people. I was like, oh, maybe I should go for a photo pass. And they actually had like good light for the first 3 songs. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
because there's been times I've photographed Portugal the Man, and it was like I had like 3 photos that were good because the light was just so weird and so tough. And the singer, he used to like wearing like ponchos and shit, like rain ponchos with like the hood up, and then he's got a mustache and you got the weird light, so he just looks like a weird blob in half your photos. But they were great. Like, it was such a good show. The opener was this little Latina lady. Let me get her name. Her name was Rihanna Tropical.
Okay.
And she played some really cool like Latin rock type riffs, like over some very interesting beats. Kind of remind me of Tommy Guerrero, who was a former pro skateboarder who decided he wanted to make fucking chill ass music.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because she was like a very like fiery, horny lesbian Latina, and she was talking about how like the tour has been in the South for a couple days, and like they don't really like that out there.
Oh,
like, she's like it's like the first. She's like you know, kind of ironic that the further north I get as a brown woman, like the more like accepting the crowds are. And she was like saying a bunch of stuff in Spanish, and there were like some like ladies in the crowd that I guess knew some Spanish because they were like hollering.
That's what's up.
They were hollering all about the sex.
All right.
I was like, this is like, I had no expectations for this performance. I'm having a great time. Like she's having a great time on stage. Like it was so much fucking fun. Like that was such a great little show. And then to have Death Cab for Cutie and all that the next night, it's just been a nice little week, enjoying my unemployment, seeing lots of live music, photographing it.
Yeah, you got time now.
Yeah, well, hopefully not too much time.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood for you, man.
But yeah, I got Swans tomorrow night.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready for Swans. I'm ready to be punished. I'm ready for the Arlo equivalent of going to a dentist who doesn't care if it hurts.
No gas.
I'm wearing my earplugs, and Dee was so kind to let me borrow her over ear protection that she uses at the range, which are like a very like muted hot pink.
Hell yeah!
So I'm sure Michael Gira is gonna love that. Here's a photographer wearing over the ear. Yeah, here's the serious guy. He's gonna be wearing like a Western shirt, sitting on a chair, while everyone's making like fucking Tom Waits and Hell sounds with their instruments.
He's gonna see you and flip the fuck out.
Oh, fucking! It's gonna be like the Firebird all over again.
Yeah,
where I moved his amp case, the Rode case for his amp, and didn't see his stage plot. I don't think this was in the stage plot.
Probably not.
And got like really annoyed with me for about 20 seconds. And it was really like I felt like I was a little kid again. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
I'll do better. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, man. I'll do better.
Please don't take my dog.
Please don't take my... All right, Bart. You can have your frog back.
Well, how old is that fucking reference.
Almost 30 years.
I was going to say, yeah, Jesus.
What you got, homeboy?
I really only have the one thing. I've been bouncing between video games, trying to find the new one. I'm still slowly going at the Yakuza Infinite Money, but in true Yakuza fashion, it's very slow going, and I keep getting sidetracked by other things. I started up Tunic, which is the May free game on PS Plus. Bounced around a little bit in Fallout 4 after seeing the Fallout show. I'm like, is Fallout 4 really that bad? Fallout 4
Kind of is.
Yeah, it kind of is.
You can definitely it definitely can have fun.
Yeah,
but it's no New Vegas.
It's fine. But, I started up a Fallout 3 save, and I'm just kind of bouncing around trying to find the sweet spot. Tunic is real fun. Tunic is this kind of isometric faux 3D Zelda-like experience. You play as a little fox who's wandering. He's just going around the map doing stuff. But again, I haven't really played all that much of it, so I can't really tell you much about that. I bought but haven't played Animal Well, which is the new game by Video Game Donkey's production company, Big Mode. That came out today.
I've heard good things about that.
But no, not a lot. I've been rewatching Firefly with the kids.
So you gotta teach them how to get stuff in the lockers.
They seem disinterested in it, which is a damn shame. Like,
good for them. Maybe they'll go do something with their life.
And I'm just gonna walk right past that because you know what? That's
at least you didn't get them on Battlestar Galactica.
Not yet. But the other thing, Resident Alien Season 3 dropped, and so I'm watching that in bits and pieces. But man, I kind of feel like that show peaked in Season 2, and we're just kind of on the downhill swing. Even like Linda Hamilton showing up as a meaty kind of role can't really save it. Alan Tudyk, the one through line between Firefly and Resident Alien, is great as always, but I mean, he's not always on screen. And so
where's Poochie?
No, that's exactly what's happening. Every time there's a scene where Harry Vanderspiegel is not on screen, I'm saying, where's Harry? But the neat little through line is also there's a minor character who shows up for like 3 or 4 episodes, and she's another type of alien who's like bird based, and it's played by the lady who plays Judy in The Righteous Gemstones. Like Alan Tudyk and her having just unimaginable amount of scenes together. It's just
amazing. That sounds good.
That sells it. But then she's just like gone from the show. I'm like, well, I had my fun. Now when's this over? It's fine. It's not bad. I think the first 2 seasons, like I said, are probably some of the best that they've done. It's based on a comic which has its limitations because they can't really go beyond the scope of it. It's like, what if an alien landed in Northern Exposure? I mean, that's essentially the concept of the show. There is some neat stuff in the 3rd season where they focus on this woman, Asta, who's been a mainstay in the show, but she's a native woman, and she gave her daughter up for adoption, but now kind of wants to be her friend now that the daughter is like of college age. So that's cool. Kind of hang out with some of the native people for parts of those episodes. There's some stuff there that's neat. It's missing something. And they had it for a minute when they brought in Judy from Righteous Gemstones, and then they wrote her out of the show. It's like, okay, well, now what? I think part of it is also that I really want to watch 3 Body Problem. And so this was my concession to my wife. We trade off. I picked one, you pick one. And this was the one that she picked because she is a big fan of Alan Tudyk, and so am I. And so we're like, okay, this is one we can agree on. But yeah, I'm kind of, we're 6 episodes in, and I'm checking my watch every time one comes on. Not good. But, I like the show overall. It's just...
You watched X-Men 97?
I have not watched X-Men 97 yet. I've heard nothing but good things from many, many people. How about yourself?
I haven't watched it. It's surprisingly fucking good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was really impressed how like the first 2 episodes really hit the cheese and the nostalgia, and I really think like, oh, this is gonna be fucking terrible. This is gonna be just, and then it kind of like flips it on its ear, and it's like, oh wow, this is interesting, and apparently some callbacks to the original 90s Fox series, but they got a lot of the original voice actors back. It's got a compelling story. It's the best thing that Marvel has done in a couple of years. Let's put it like that. Last thing before we wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, please.
I did watch The Iron Claw.
Oh, what did you think of The Iron Claw?
Did you watch it?
I have not.
I think it's a really interesting movie. It's really well shot. It doesn't feel like Oscar bait, but I think it is.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of feel like it is.
It's very, for what I know about the Von Erichs, it's seems pretty accurate. It's just a fucking devastating story about basically a family where the father thinks that there's a curse, but the curse is really him being a huge piece of shit.
Oh.
That's like the curse is you is like what you put your children through.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's really fucking depressing. It's told through the POV of Kevin Von Erich, which is, spoiler alert, the only Von Erich son that like survives. It's just fucking depressing. It's really good though. The only thing that sucks is that the guy that got to play Ric Flair does not have the fucking mojo. It is one of the worst performances I've ever seen in any movie.
Oh no! Of all the people that
the
Nature Boy, you couldn't get somebody good for Nature Boy.
Is really bad.
It's a bummer.
But there are like, you know, a couple of references to like the wrestling scene here in St. Louis and Missouri, which is kind of neat. Like, because like NWA was and wrestling at the Chase in the 80s. Yeah, it's surprisingly like well made. It really is a gut punch. And again, this whole entire family curse is really just like their father being a huge fucking piece of shit, like putting all this pressure on his kids.
I definitely want to see this now because I know from the trailers and stuff that it had the vibe of Aronofsky's The Wrestler, grimy, lived-in vibe. Again, just from me seeing the trailer and hearing about it from other people. Verisimilitude is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Would you say...
It's not like I'm trying to be Requiem for a Dream, but for wrestling, like The Wrestler is.
No.
It's very much trying to tell a straight story.
Okay.
Trying to tell an honest story. And from what I know, some of the stuff that's changed is just because, like, there's one son that isn't in the movie that existed in real life, just because, like, his life was also fucked. But it's like the movie could not take the weight of another fucking miserable, sad story of another person's life.
The load of misery was too high.
Like, we're just gonna act like that person doesn't exist. Unfortunately, just because the movie, it would just make the movie like there'd be people killing themselves in the theater. Basically, it'd be such a bummer.
Jesus.
But it's well shot.
Yeah,
and all the performances are really, really good. Jeremy Allen White is great. Zac Efron's fantastic.
Okay, Jeremy Allen White. Yeah, he's the one that I heard all the rave reviews about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of strong performances.
You said an Efron? What is that?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. Okay.
Zac Efron's Kevin Von Erich.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, see now that between the two of them, I'm more intrigued now than
it's not like and the movie has a good pace to it, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. But I really liked it. I would tell people to go watch that, even if you don't like wrestling, because you don't really have to be like a big wrestling person to enjoy it.
Yeah, because it's more about a family. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's lots of stuff about the business, but it's really more about like the way the business is and their father unable to like be a good person in it.
Yeah, like what the business does to people. Maybe?
Yeah, because like it doesn't ever. I've never really got an impression that the business ever really negatively affected the children like it did their father. They were just happy to do it, but like he had to push them to success, which cause some sons to have like seizures and basically like be like functionally like for the rest of their life.
Jesus
and it is like one of those things where if you tried to raise your children like that today, someone would either fucking should blow your brains out or you should be in prison.
God damn.
Over wrestling.
It's
not even like, yo, we're trying to cure cancer here.
Right.
Kevin Von Erich.
Yeah, this is wrestling.
Yeah. What if the Iron Claw was about trying to cure cancer? It's about one man driving his children to like suicide. All of them trying to. You didn't synthesize the proteins from the sea slug right.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up the show, Brian. Jesus fuck.
Do it. Jesus fucking piss and shit.
It's that time of the show where we tell you where to find us on the old internet. Brian, why don't you go ahead and tell them where you're at?
Oh, gosh, if you want.
Please don't.
Trip report.
Yeah.
1 beer.
Trip duration 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. 1 beer.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want to harass me on the internet, you can find me on most social media platforms, either as iShotGuideboard, ISHOTGUIDBORD, or a music photographer, mostly on Instagram and a couple other platforms. But if you want to look at my music photos, you can go over to assholemusicphotographer.com. You want to take a look at some photos with words, you can go over to musicphotographer.com. Guess what, motherfucker?
What's that?
I got that Matty Diaz piece up.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, almost 2 months after the show.
I'm sure she appreciates it.
Yeah, well, after fucking Southwestern Delta destroyed her.
Oh yeah.
The D28 Martin guitar her father gave her for high school graduation, and she's only a little bit younger than me, or the same age. We were born the same year. Yeah, because the tour that she's on for her album Weird Faith is ended. She was now, by the time I post this, was in UK for a tour with someone else, a solo tour, and the fucking on the way over, and it was and the thing is, like, it was in a fucking hardcore fucking flight case. It wasn't like in like the metal hinge ones that you see like amps, but it was like in a fucking SKB DSA rated case, or whatever.
Big boys,
real solid. It's really hard to fucking, but it looked like almost like someone fucking purposely damaged her guitar. Like it's fucking insane. Thankfully, Delta is going to make it right as far as that.
How the fuck do you do that?
Wherever the airline is going. I think I can't remember if it's Southwestern or Delta. I think it might be Delta. They're going to make it right, but I mean, how can you replace a guitar that has those?
No, somebody
a guitar that she's apparently written so much of her work on and has been through all these periods of her life, and now she'll never write another song on it. Like, this is a fucking bummer. But anyways, that shit's up there.
Okay.
By the time this is going live, you can go over to the Arts STL, and you can read my Slowdive piece, which I think I just finally fucking put the last fucking touches on. It's got to tighten up a few things.
Hell yeah.
Death Cab for Cutie and Postal Silvers might be up over on the Arts STL as well. Editor-in-Chief, Big Honcho Jason Green's taking care of the words on that. And, he's a big old adult with, like, kids and shit, so it might take him a second, and that's completely understandable to do his side. But my foes are almost done. And then maybe if you're really fucking lucky with all the fucking moving and stuff we've got going on, trying to pick out appliances and shit, maybe I'll have Swans up by then over there on the Arts STL. We'll see. We'll see if Michael Gira...
if he deigns to...
Michael Gira is really the kind of guy that would come into your house and open up the fridge. Wearing that big old cowboy hat.
What you got in there? Yeah.
Where's the fucking beer, bro? What's this? Coors? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Fuck that shit. Yeah.
Heineken?
Fuck that shit. That's right. Yeah. Oh boy. Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet, people.
Boy.
So that stuff's going on. Jason, where can they find you?
Oh my gosh, you can find me on Twitter and various other places as Videocrime, VIDEOCRIME. The only two exceptions to that are, of course, Instagram and TikTok. There I am, Laser Goose CEO. That's laser with an S. You can reach the show in a number of ways, but let's start with my favorite one. Give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO if you like to spell with your telephone. Leave us a voicemail, send us a text. We will answer any and all of them that we get. You can also shoot us an email, jason@48minutesofdogsbarking.com or Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Send him any video dealing with Daniel Pearl that you can think of.
I want to talk with the Daniel Pearl AI.
Oh, no.
I think that's what I said last episode. Well, it still cracks me up, because where would the mouth be?
Oh, God. Come on. Come on, man.
Daniel Pearl, did Bush do 9/11? I cannot speak on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, folks.
We're going to hell.
We're going to hell.
You can also support the show, patreon.com/48minutesdogs. There we're going to have our Thanks I Hate It Volume 5 coming soon. And you can also do me a favor support us for submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals. Season 2 is crowdfunding right now on Indiegogo. Get me paid to do my bad impression of Stephen King. Do that thing. Search on Indiegogo Midnight Pals. You'll find it there. Get yourself some perks, including an annotated script. I did sit there and write out all the little references and goofy little shit there in an annotated script. You can get that for a mere $20 US. We just crossed 1,000, and we got the coveted Neil Gaiman retweet, so always nice to see that. And that about does it for the program. As we always say at this time, namaste. Good luck.
Give mommy
a good
gut.
fucking.
Eat the knife.
Eat the knife.